If you have a business where you make money online, or if you work for a company where they make money or do transactions online, you need to listen to this episode. The infrastructure of the internet is changing overnight. This is going to be one of those things where in 3 to 6 months, you are going to be like, oh my God, I'm so glad that I did. Especially if you take action on this episode, it's going to be one of the things like, I'm so grateful that I did. AI has changed the internet overnight. It has changed the infrastructure of the internet and how the internet is monetized, the business model of the internet. Those are two different things. The infrastructure and the business model. It's changing how we consume information, how transactions are being initiated, the psychology of purchasing decisions, who and what gets rewarded. You already know the drill. This is not investment advice. This is for information and entertainment purposes only. I am not a financial advisor. I am not your financial advisor. Make sure you do your own due diligence. And do not forget, with any type of investment, they always carry a risk of losing all of your money. Don't you ever forget that. So with that being said, enjoy the show. So, if you have a business where you make money online, you do transactions online, or if you work for a company where they make money or do transactions online, you need to listen to this episode. The infrastructure of the internet is changing overnight. It has to change overnight. This is going to be one of those things where in 3 to 6 months, you are going to be like, oh my God, I'm so glad that I did. Especially if you take action on this episode, it's going to be one of them things like, I'm so grateful that I did. In this episode, we're going to talk about the new infrastructure of the internet, and it is really the Wild Wild West. There's a lot of opportunity to be taken advantage of. But here is the caveat. Warning. If you cannot think big, if you like thinking inside of a box and you want to live in your box forever and ever and ever, this episode is not for you. If you can challenge yourself, think big, or if you're already a big thinker.
A third option thinker.
For those of you who don't know, I have this theory. There's always a third option. If you're not a third option thinker, click away. But if you're a third option thinker and you're tired of this slop that people putting out the same content over and over and over and over and over and over and over again, and you walk away like, I didn't learn anything, this is where you want to be. Okay? I have a saying that I always say, there's 3 types of people in this world. Only 3 types of people in this world. I really do see the world in this lens. Either you can be a GP, an LP, or NPC. You should give that same reaction as you gave before. When I said it the first time. We had to retake because I did a terrible opening. And when I said it the first time, Brandon was like, oh, he was running around the office. No, I'm joking. He wasn't doing all that. But he was definitely blown away. Okay. Yes. GP, NP, or LPs. NPC. You like that, don't you? That was the reenactment. Okay. A GP is a general partner. A general partner is typically a third option person. They're always thinking about the big picture. They are the visionary. They are the integrator. They are the person who, they'll have the vision, they'll come up with a plan, all of that. We all know GPs. I am 100% a GP. I'm always coming up with a harebrained scheme, plan, okay? All the time. As you're going to see in this episode, I got a whole entire plan for y'all. All right. LP is the person that's like, listen, I love the visionary's vision. I fool with you. How can I support? But I want my bread. Right. That's a limited partner. I want my cut. Go and do your thing. You go and risk your life. Go and do your thing.
Yes, yes.
I'll support because I believe in the vision, but I want my cut. A limited partner. An NPC. What is an NPC? NPC. In game terms, you're looking at me seeing if I'm gonna get it right. Non-player character. A non-player character. A non-player character is a person who is neither. They accept whatever life gives them. They accept whatever the rules are. They try to fit the rules. They get mad, do nothing. And so in video games, a non-player character is someone, if you think of like Grand Theft Auto, right? You got like old ladies that you can either help across the street or beat up, right? You can't control her. You can't get in the game and play her. She's just there.
Yeah.
That is an NPC. Okay? This episode is for GPs or LPs. All the stuff I'm going to lay out for you here, if you are an NPC, you can be an NPC today, but you have to completely, fully submit yourself right now that you're willing to walk over the threshold as we talk about the new internet.
Question.
Yes.
How does one know
If they're an NPC?
if they're NPC?
What is your dominant thoughts that you think about? I want to make more money. How can I optimize the hours at my job? How can I go get whatever vice that I have, more of the vice, smoke more cigarettes, smoke more weed, do more hookah, whatever your weird vice is. I'm not even judging your vice. If that is your only goal, is to make money, let's add some positive stuff in there. Like, I want to help my family, take care of my kids. If your circle of influence does not go outside of these things that the government knows, I'll use the government as a proxy, as the government knows that you only care about, you are an NPC.
Let's explain that a little better.
The government says that people only want to take care of their family. They're not thinking about like truly actually helping humankind, helping people out, building something bigger than themselves.
Okay.
Building something that actually helps people.
Outside
And
of
that
their
big,
own,
and that big doesn't have to be giant.
Mm-hmm.
It can be like, outside of your own family, your community, something that actually helps other people. If that, now you may want to do it, but is it one of your dominant thoughts that you think about? Do you pray about this thing? You got to be honest with yourself. I'm not here to go back and forth with you about whether you're going to be honest with yourself or not. That's a conversation that you have to have. And so if that's not you and you want to challenge yourself, listen to the episode. I'm not about to convict you either. You don't got to sit, watch the episode, go back and come back to this part and sit and think on this. What is your dominant thought? What are you trying to do? I'm just trying to get to the weekend. I'm trying to get to the vacation. I'm trying to get to, I had to think about vacations. I'm trying to get to the weekend. I'm trying to get to vacation. That's all that matters. I don't care about nothing else. You're an NPC. You might be a cute NPC. You're an NPC. You'll be a footnote in history. That's okay. I might end up being a footnote in history, but I'm trying real hard not to be. Because I really do genuinely care about y'all. Let's get on to the topic. We can have a whole Nicole Kumbaya moment later. Let's get on to the topic. All right. This is for NPC. This is for GPs and LPs. Okay. All right. So AI has changed the internet overnight. If you think about the hours, we're probably at like 10:59 p.m. Okay. We're in the middle of the overnight, and this overnight is about to be really quickly. All right. It has changed the infrastructure of the internet and how the internet is monetized, the business model of the internet. Those are two different things. The infrastructure and the business model. Both things are changing overnight because of AI. Okay? It's changing how we consume information, how transactions are being initiated, the psychology of purchasing decisions, who and what gets rewarded. And that affects the whole entire psychology. First, I want to talk about how we consume. The business model of the internet, we're going to go in depth a little bit later in this episode. But the old business model, Internet 2.0, basically, where do we go to consume information? Google, social media, for the most part, right? You had your favorite blogs, so on and so forth.
Really just Google.
Just Google.
And then social media came, and then it was kind of more so.
It didn't really do what it's supposed to do.
Yeah.
Yeah. Google, and I would say YouTube. YouTube is a far second in terms of search.
Yeah.
But yes, Google. We're going to come to that in a minute because that's massively important. Okay. So the way that AI has changed it for Google was, in the past, it went from a intent. Hey, I want to search for new trousers. Hey, I want to search for the best pickup truck. You go to Google, and then Google give you a list, and then you have to go through this treasure map to find the best link. And then once you click on that link, then you have to read the information. Okay? So you got to literally go find the treasure. Cool. Now, you go right to Google, and Google's giving you the information right in the AI. So that changes everything, how we consume information, all right? The next thing that's changing about it is how transactions are initiated. This conversation got you thinking differently. Here's something worth looking into. One of the reasons why I partner with iTrust Capital is because they allow you to own physical gold inside a self-directed IRA. So instead of just buying gold, you can potentially do it in a tax advantage retirement account. And I'm gonna add an extra layer for you. If you have questions about rolling over an old 401k, transferring an IRA, or you just wanna understand how it all works, I've arranged for you guys, my community, to have a dedicated iTrust Capital representative. You'll find their contact information in the description below. Just email Ryan. He's going to answer your questions and connect you with the iTrust Capital white glove team to help you set up every step so you can own some gold or some crypto inside a retirement account, or just own gold or crypto outside of a retirement account. Email is down below. Reach out to them and tell them I sent you so you can get a free $100 right in your account. By the way, this video is sponsored by iTrust Capital, and I only partner with companies that I truly believe provide value to you guys, my audience. Back to the convo. The next thing that's changing about it is how transactions are initiated. So there are a number of ways the way that it was done before, but let's say you go to Google and then Google gives you some options and you go to that website to go and purchase. Now within AI, they're setting it up so you can purchase it right in OpenAI.
Right in chat.
Right in chat.
Yeah.
That changes everything especially from a technical standpoint as well as a psychological standpoint. Now, here is the next thing, which is the psychology of purchasing decisions. Before, everything that got attention was rewarded. Now, the good thing about AI is it's making everyone increase quality. So this is changing people on how they understand purchases and transactions. Actually, we are setting up a cohort and investment club within the Profit Door. And I'm going to give you an example that many of you have experienced before. I asked chat for some attorneys because I want the cohort to interview an attorney. And it ran this query multiple times, changed the parameters on the query, and every time it gave me this one woman. Okay? So in the past, if you wanted to rank for Google for a certain thing, you knew that person probably hired an SEO person, they searched all the things, and then by the time you went to go and call them, you're still a little bit skeptical, okay? By the time I got to this woman, I knew, because I know where chat is pulling its answers from, I knew that she knew her stuff. So if I'm her, the psychology is, I just better continue to do good work. Just do good work. She didn't even know that she had been recommended multiple times. Both I ran a query and Jenny, my assistant, ran a query. She didn't even know. So this changes the psychology. Now this is making people think like, oh snap, I better put out, or should make people think, I better put out really good work. I know that's how it made me. As soon as chat came out, I was like, ooh, I'm about to eat, because I know how to use my noggin. Whereas this is going to put a dent in people who, I've seen it put a dent in people who just putting out crap. It don't work no more. Okay, as a result of this, here's the main thing that how AI has changed the internet, is that earlier this year, bots, agents, non-human traffic exceeded human traffic on the internet. I think it's like 57%.
Wow.
There are estimates that thinks that in the next 5 years or so, it will be like 1,000 to 1. Your eyes are, you are blown away.
Yeah, that's a lot. That's
non-human traffic there's more non-human traffic on the internet than humans. This is the major catalyst that's going to change how everything is done. So I'm going off my script just a little bit here. One of the reasons that I was thinking about that I wanted to do this episode is because of Cloudflare. They're getting a lot of attention right now. A little later on, I'm going to explain how Cloudflare works and why they are integral in this whole entire conversation. But they're the gatekeeper that manages security. Basically, every website that you go to, it exists on a server somewhere.
Right.
But because there are bots and there are a lot of malicious malware going around, Cloudflare sits in between the website and the user, and it serves up a copy on one of its local servers, and it has ways that it can instantaneously check to make sure that this person is safe. As a person who has gotten hacked multiple times, y'all always talk about 2024. The big bang of 2024 being my horrible year was that my website got hacked. My main website where I was making money. It got hacked as I'm making this transition from fund manager, selling my properties. You know, I'm like, okay, I could live off of this little bit of money for a little while I sell my properties and transition over to the fund. That little bit of money, somebody hacked me. A Turkish porn site, which is crazy because I'm doing all this research. Actually, no, this is a very, very interesting story. So I'm listening to a interview by the CEO of Cloudflare, and he was saying early in the game, when they were trying to get more customers, out of nowhere, over a weekend, 1,000 Turkish porn sites signed up with them. Because Turkey, I don't know if you know, Turkey is the only country that exists in both Europe and Asia. And so on the Europe side, they're a little more free. And on the Asia side, they like, y'all, porn, this is crazy.
Right.
So the more radicals was targeting Turkish porn sites. They found about Cloudflare, and then they all told all their friends, let's sign up for it. And Cloudflare tell the bots, go away, okay? Because these sites they was attacking them, all right? Total coincidence that I get hacked by a Turkish porn site. Cool. Fast forward, this is real fascinating. Fast forward, some other stuff happened. Eurovision got hacked, okay? Cloudflare helped Eurovision. I don't know if you know what Eurovision is. It's American Idol, but bigger for Europe. Way bigger, okay? So they got hacked because they had a transgender on the show. And so it was the same type of hack, okay? This Turkish porn hack. Something else happened, so it's a Turkish porn hack. Come to find out, is one guy, Iranian guy, that's doing this, and he is very strict Muslim, to the point where Iran hired him, and he's the one making those Lego videos. Isn't that crazy?
Lego videos?
The Donald Trump Lego animated videos.
Oh, wow.
About the war. You've seen those, right?
No. It's one Iranian man behind
The
this.
Iran government hired him, and he's the one behind it. This is according to the guy at Cloudflare. So because he was so good and he was so radical in terms of like, he didn't like anything that was not in line with very strict Islam.
Right.
Iran was like, yo, bro, come over here. So traffic on the internet is not human. Guess what non-human traffic doesn't do?
Make money. No?
It doesn't click on ads.
Oh,
yes,
it does
ads
not.
is mainly how the internet was monetized. Non-human traffic doesn't click on ads.
That makes me think about how do you pronounce it? CAPTCHAs? Is that it?
That's what Cloudflare does. That's
Yeah.
one of the things. That's one of the many things that they do to verify that you are human. Or it doesn't mind bots. It just has to pass its security. So one of the many things that they do is CAPTCHA. They got a bunch of other stuff. They can process an insane amount of crawls or security, like, bots coming on a website per second. Insane. They do other stuff too. I actually, like I said, I listened to a bunch of the interviews by the CEO and research for this episode and really fully understand it, because y'all know I am 100% a GP, and he's really smart. So they do a lot of stuff. They literally started as about 17 years ago, they started as a small startup, just handling security. Now, let me kind of back up a little bit. It's funny, at the time when they started up, maybe a little bit after, so they're still a small company, I was running everything on my websites. I used to be a web designer. So here's the other thing I wanted to give you all some context about. I know you'll be like, how did this woman know so much about all these things? Almost everything we talked about, I worked in the industry or I ran a business.
Yeah.
So I had a web design business. That was one of my very first successful businesses. I had a web design digital marketing agency business. And a lot of my clients hosted, I also had a hosting company. They hosted their stuff with me. I built everything using WordPress. And a lot of the stuff I would build through Scratch. I had a staff, okay? And we were constantly getting attacked. And so we were using a software called SiteLock. And I didn't know until now. So SiteLock kind of sat in between. I do not want to go into the specifics about CDNs and DNS. I don't want to get into it. Y'all will get very, very bored. But it sits in between the visitor and the site and verifies that it's not malicious malware.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I guess during that time frame, Cloudflare was probably a competitor. And then what they ended up doing, this is a big business lesson for all of you running businesses. What they ended up doing was creating a bare bones version of this protection, because it was a real problem back then, and offering it for free. And so they thought in their minds that, hey, we're going to offer this for free and companies will hire it and use it. And large companies didn't want to get the freebie stuff. So small hackers, and they said 2 types of people actually was their first customers. One was civil rights organizations. So like if they're ruffling feathers, governments be trying to hack their sites.
Right.
So they don't got a whole bunch of money. So they went to them. And then I think the other one was, dang, I'm sorry, I can't remember the other. But it's like these small organizations. And if you have a vision of being, and this is what Facebook did too, if you have a vision of being a major part of infrastructure, figure out how you can offer something for free and rope everybody in, because that's what they did. This is what Facebook did with Facebook Business. Back in the day, having a Facebook business account, your business account competed alongside regular everyday people. Then out of nowhere, once everybody got hooked, they said, nope, we're going to drop your traffic down. You're not going to be algorithm, and the only way you're going to get in is if you do ads. That upset a lot of people. This was like 15 years ago. That's a whole nother conversation. But the moral of the story is Cloudflare sits on 20% of the websites on the internet.
That business model still stands true to today, because that made me think about the way that they launch OpenAI, ChatGPT.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Everybody just get on. Everybody just get on.
Addicted.
Get on here and search whatever you make. A cat, make a dog.
Yeah.
That's a man.
Yeah.
Get all the research you want.
Yeah. Exactly.
Now they're like, it's integrated everywhere you need it. Almost. Not quite. Not quite. But you know.
There's something very special I want to share at this end of this episode, and I'm going to talk a little bit about what I think OpenAI is doing wrong. They're doing a couple different things wrong, but so I really wanted to do this episode to talk about Cloudflare, but I didn't know this was going to go in a different direction. And honestly, some of the stuff that I was going to share with you, you didn't need as much as stuff that we're talking about in this episode, in this big special gem that I'm going to share with you. But I'm not trying to keep you on longer. I want to keep you on longer, but I have to give you context before I share this, okay? Here's the other thing I wanted to say. Internet, business model, infrastructure, they're 2 different things. I need you to understand the distinction, especially if you plan to be a GP or if you plan to be an LP, so you can understand your GP. They're 2 different things. Infrastructure, business model. What an NPC sees, this is probably another defining thing between an NPC, is they accept the business model and the infrastructure as their reality. It is real to them, business model and infrastructure, okay? It is real. It defines everything that they do. Everything. What a GP or LP knows is that if you have technology, an idea, a system, in this particular instance, technology is the internet. The technology is AI. We talked about stock trades last week. The technology is the stock market. The idea is buying and selling pieces of companies. Technology does not equal money. You have to first decide, establish the infrastructure, and then you have to decide what the business model is. Okay? So this is part of the issue with AI right now, is that we have the technology, the infrastructure isn't completely laid out, and everybody doesn't know what their business model is. It's also running alongside with the internet, which had an old business model and old infrastructure. So with AI, it's forcing the internet to have new infrastructure and new business model. The infrastructure says this is how this works. Business model says this is how we make money from how this works. Okay? So a very simple example would be railroads. Infrastructure is you got a road over here, you got a road over here, you got a road over here, railroad over here. That's where the lines are going to go. The business model says we going to charge people when they get on, or are we going to charge people, let people get on for free and make them pay to eat? Are we going to charge people to send things, but they can travel for free? Are we going to charge people per bag that they have on, but they can, like, there's infinite ways that you can monetize this. That is the business model. Once someone comes along and establishes first the infrastructure and the business model, these can be two separate people, but these big companies, they want to be both and all.
So using the same analogy of railroads, my mind went to highways. And when I say highways, because essentially to get on the highway is literally free.
Yes. So here's the thing. The infrastructure is the highways. The monetization that this version of the Matrix has decided is the government pays for it. There are some highways, toll roads that you got to pay for. That's that monetization. So what I want you to understand, this is how you become a third option thinker. You understand that infrastructure defines reality. Reality does not equal truth.
Run that back.
I know.
Run that back again. What?
Infrastructure defines physical reality. And by physical, I mean like anything you can see or touch, not physics. Anything you can see or touch. It defines, I always say, this matrix, this version of the matrix. It defines this version of the matrix.
Okay.
It doesn't equal truth, because this is the whole thing about being a third option thinker. NPC says that's how highways work and that's how they always gonna work. I can't think outside of that. I can't go in the grass. My feathers is flying all over the place. NPC says I can't go in the grass. I can't.
They already computed. They got to do what they're computed to do.
They're literally the highways is reality. The highways and the way that it works is reality to them. Reality is perception. Reality does not always equal truth. Because truth is, how about I can walk on the grass? How about I can do, once I understand the mechanics of the way it was and the way that and the technology, we can come up with anything. How can I insert myself in the conversation? How can I insert myself in this conversation about infrastructure? This might be a little bit more difficult because it really, if you're a technical person, I'm not a technical person, so leave me out of this. But if you're a technical person, people come up with new solutions to problems of the technology all day, every day.
You want to know what's so crazy about that? When you just said that, I always knew that I was a GP, but I didn't know I was a GP, right? I didn't know term-wise what it was, but I remember being a kid and just being on the expressway, driving down the expressway.
Thinking about, what if we did this?
Yeah, thinking about.
But most people come into this world as GPs. All kids come into this world as GPs.
Bar.
But this version of the Matrix, the whole purpose is to beat you into NPC hood. And it's your job to resist. Everybody comes in, let me rephrase it. Everybody comes into this world as a GP or LP. Because we need each other. There is a video, a picture of me that I keep in my mind because it helps me to understand the type of person that I am. I have a cousin, she's 5 years older than me, and I idolized her growing up, okay? She just posted some fire pictures on the internet over the weekend. Y'all will not believe this woman is almost 50. I'm gonna post these pictures right on this thing, and she could be mad at me all she wants, okay? And there is a picture of Christmas, her getting a new bike, and me standing there being so flippin' excited for her. Like I think I was more excited in this picture than her. Like I was, oh my God. I was so excited for her to get this. And so I'm saying all this to say, children are natural GPs and LPs. Don't have to be LP in everything. I was an LP in her venture of getting this bike. I was thoroughly vested. Like, how can we enjoy this? And I couldn't even ride a bike, okay, at the time. So, yes, I did not learn how to ride a bike until I was 10. That's another conversation for another day.
Not to go too far off and veer too far off, but, sometimes you tie your biblical principles into it too. But that just made me think about in the Bible where it says, truly I tell to you, unless you change it, become like little
more
children.
Like children. I was going to go there, but I didn't want to go there. Yeah.
Oh, you was going?
My brain always thinks. My brain thinks about that. My brain thinks about that line so much. Okay, so it's Matthew 18.
Come on, sister.
So,
come on, sister. Perfect. Matthew 18. What?
It's at the top of that. So
yep, 2 to 4.
Yep, I know. Yeah, I know. So the disciples was like, Jesus, who's gonna be number 2 in heaven with you? And he was like, first thing he says is, unless you become as little children, you will never see the kingdom of heaven. Okay?
Unless you get back to your greatness.
And so I think about that often because he literally leaves that part really kind of open-ended. He goes into probably a list of like maybe 7 or 8 other things in this whole thing about getting into heaven, right? What does he say? You will not see heaven, okay? He goes into about 7 or 8 other things. And a lot of them are very specific. And this is real important. If you read that, always make sure you read that. Let me back up. That chapter is literally the climax of the whole entire Bible, in my opinion. Okay? Because he tells you, he's telling you what heaven is like, and he's telling you how to get there, and you can get there now.
Yeah.
Okay? It's very important that you read it in the King James versus the NIV, because there are some important lines in there that the NIV, I think is intentionally mistranslates. Okay? I don't want to get into it right now. If you compare it to the original text, the first thing he says is, be ye as little children. And he kind of leaves it open-ended. And I think we graze over the little children part. But if you think about what happens when you're a child versus when you're an adult. When you're a child, first of all, children are in a constant state of theta up until they're 7. They pretty much, they're programmable. And so he's saying, you have to keep yourself programmable and stop believing in the reality of the infrastructure, because it's not reality, it's not truth.
Church. Bring it home, sister. But yeah, no.
This is how you can make massive amounts of money and do things that make no sense. You have to constantly be programmable about what this reality is. Some people go a certain age and they say, I got it all figured out. I know everything. I know this is how this works. This is how that works. And you're going to get played every time. And you're missing out your opportunity. Y'all know I could take it
Mm-hmm.
to a sermon. We're not going to go there right now.
Mm-hmm.
We're talking about the infrastructure and the business models, okay?
Mm-hmm.
The internet. Here's the other thing that I guess this is why I'm laying on this so much. You know, we're in a series of 4 episodes. Because remember, we did the episode at my house where I said, hey, it's 4 things that's changing right now. Like, I don't think y'all understand how special of a time that we're living in right now. It's 4 systems that's changing. 4 reality rewrites that's happening. And I want to talk about all of them. So I talked about how trading is done.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all saw that very clearly. The episode is doing really well. How your understanding of how it works, your reality is being rewritten. Okay? You have to stay programmable. The people who are not programmable are going to be mad. Oh my God, JP Morgan took all my money. Oh my God, the internet, we are going to stock crash. That you're not being as little children. Who the heck said that it got to go this way?
Mm-hmm.
Some powers that being, you accepted it. Okay, cool. Reality is not truth. Okay? Now, here we are, internet, working this way. Some people about to be real salty because internet sales is going to be down.
Mm-hmm.
You're not going to be getting website traffic. Do you know that Google, in the past, for every 2 sites that it crawled, because what Google does is, in the past, or they still do it, they make a copy of everything on the internet, and that's how they present it, okay? So they have bots that crawl your website. For every 2 pages that the internet crawled, that Google crawled, represent 1 visit. Now, because of AI, it's 19 to 1 because Google is crawling, getting the information so it can present right on the page without giving people the click. So now it's 19 to 1.
Mm.
With chat, it's 1,500 to 1. With Anthropic, it is 40,000 to 1.
Oh, wow.
Okay? So when people see that they're not getting as much sales, this is why I said you need to watch this. You're not getting as much sales because you're operating in the old system thinking that it's going to stay like that forever.
Mm-hmm.
Or you're not getting enough, you're not making as much money because remember, you were rewarded through advertisement, through attention. That was pretty much the whole thing.
Right.
If the majority of the internet traffic is not human, who not clicking on advertisement, that can mean for some people, decrease in sales, decrease in ad revenue, and especially if you're a content creator or you use content to make sales, that changes everything for you.
Mm.
So are you going to sit here and not pay attention to what's being changed? Or are you going to realize that all this is made up and so I'm open to new rules when you want to tell me new rules? That's one thing about kids, especially if I got a 6-year-old. My son be asking me, he asked me, was demons real the other day? Mm-hmm. Oh, I loved answering that question for him.
Mm. That's a deep question.
I know. And you know I gave him a deep answer. Rewriting his reality or helping him to identify a reality that as his mother, this is what I think is good for him. That's my choice. Right?
Mm-hmm.
But as he gets older, I want him to, I'm going to try to instill in him always, we're not going to be mistrusting, but always question your reality.
Right.
Because it's not truth.
Mm-hmm.
The internet, in the way that it's done, it's reality. These are the rules, we operate in this. But when it changes, when things change, perfect example, on Instagram, I have ManyChat hooked up. ManyChat allows people to make a comment and then it sends them a link. So like if I post a podcast, they comment YouTube, it sends them a link.
Right.
Now they're rewriting it and people are mad. So my page keeps getting disabled. I turned it off, then I tested it, turned it back on, got disabled again because of this automation software. Mm-hmm. People are really upset about this. And I'm like, and there's people that's losing their pages and losing all this money. And like, I'm not getting back on. I'm starting from scratch. Why would you do that?
Yeah, I saw one of my people I like to follow. Say something along the lines of that.
That he's restarting his page again?
Not restarting, but like I keep getting blocked. I keep getting flagged. I'm off here. I'm going XYZ.
There you go. That Instagram is telling you they don't want you. It's okay. Y'all changing the rules. Y'all want slop. Y'all want cats jumping out of airplanes.
Yeah.
Okay. Or people doing the most ridiculous stuff. That's what y'all want. Y'all don't want people who run in real businesses. Or you want me to sit here all day online sending all these hundreds and hundreds of links? You know how many links I get, requests I get on my posts? Good night, girl. And then also, how am I supposed to tell these people, hey, if you want the link, I'll send it to you. Let's say I was sitting down doing it. What am I supposed to do? Tell them. Because the problem is, if it's the same, if it's the same comment, like YouTube, then I get flagged.
Yeah.
So you're telling me that I'm not married to this. This is not my reality. It worked for a little while. I don't want my page to get deactivated. So, okay, I turn it off. I just won't post there. I don't know.
In your terms, y'all were dating hard, but you wasn't married to it.
We wasn't even dating hard.
You wasn't dating hard?
I date YouTube hard. I don't date Instagram hard. I never did. I see how meta do people. They don't care about people. I ain't mad though. Sometimes they give you they give you a business model that you can take advantage of. Let's make money together. I'm not mad at you. We not at odds. But like, I know you're not for me. I feel like YouTube is for the creators. I could be wrong. Y'all can argue me if you want. You're not for me. It's okay. Bye-bye. I will not focus my attention over there. No more. Either your software don't work after all these years, or you literally don't want us to do it. I'm only staying here because I want you to understand, as things change, the whole infrastructure changes. You have to be emotionless about this. We'll get to the good stuff in a minute, okay? This is what I want you to, I want to give you this analogy before I go into my buttery goodness that I'm going to give you. I want you to understand this analogy, okay? Now that we're third option thinkers, you have your infrastructure and then you have your business model. So the infrastructure decides how things work.
Right.
Okay? The business model decides how we make money from how things work. Along the line of the infrastructure, there are choke points. Okay? So for instance, Cloudflare, that is a choke point. Okay? The security of determining who gets access to what website. Okay? Another choke point is checkout. Stripe, I think it's Stripe, and the other e-commerce website, I can't think of what it's called again, whatever. There are choke points. There are quite a few choke points in this. I actually got a little list that I'm gonna pull up. The business model is figuring out how to monetize at the choke points. Okay? If you really want to get funky, a real good business model controls more than one of the choke points. Now, this does not have to be for the internet. I'm trying to get you to think about this in your industry. It can span your industry. Like, I'll give you an example. When I ran my real estate club, I had a real estate club in Philadelphia, very, very successful. And for the most part, not for the most part, I had the largest real estate community in Philadelphia. If you wanted to do business in Philadelphia and get access to a lot of people immediately, I was a choke point. You had to come through me. Okay? If you also wanted to learn very quickly and meet like-minded people, I was a choke point. So I'm just showing you how this goes into other industries. Okay, so for the internet, the old business model was creator to algorithm to human attention to advertising. Now, that would no longer work because remember, human attention is not the majority of the traffic on the internet.
Right.
So the reason why Cloudflare is getting a lot of attention right now is because remember, they're the ones handling the human attention and or the bots. And so they're saying, hey, if people can't make money or it can't be monetized through ads because most of the people visiting is not human and they're not going to be clicking on ads, then we need to come up with a new way for this to be monetized. Some of the ways that I've been seeing, there's infinite ways. Some of the ways that I've been seeing this monetized, or them discussing this, is one, through metered usage. So like, let's say for instance, Cloudflare pays a certain fraction of a penny. They've even said that they're down to do it. Pay a fraction of a penny to let traffic through to your website, or a fraction of a cent to let traffic through to your website, because you're no longer making a bunch of money off of advertising. The other way is through AI publishing rights. This is a big, big, big deal, okay? So websites that have a lot of content on it, they can then use these other services to provide a bot-ready version of the site, sell the publishing rights to OpenAI, Anthropic. This is how Reddit is making a ton of money. They sell publishing rights to these large language models. News businesses are doing this. If you are a content creator, you need to be thinking about how to do this. Right now, they have not figured out how to make this AI publishing rights thing monetizable to small content creators.
Yeah.
Like, I think
that's major.
I know. There is opportunity here. Major opportunity here. Okay? It's just major opportunity here. Just know that. I want to get onto something else, as I want you to expand your thinking about all of this. As a person who's always studied systems, and we have divulged that here, you guys know that I love that. Every episode is about systems. I have boiled down into 5 laws of monetizing infrastructure and systems. It's called the Purvey Economic Infrastructure Theory. Okay?
Let's hear it.
Get your pen and paper out. This is how you make the forever money. All those people that y'all be mad at, those capitalists or not, because everyone who watched this show, you're a capitalist. Your friends who hate capitalism. This is what the big capitalists do. They're not evil. They just understand and can regulate their nervous system around establishing and monetizing infrastructure, and thus writing the new rules for reality. And so I want you to understand these laws. I am probably going to write a book on this, but y'all getting the first peek. I need you to understand these laws and use them to figure out how you can take advantage of this internet stuff that's happening, as well as for your industry too. This is how you make the bread, make the chicken. I'm serious. I've done this multiple times. This time I'm going for the gusto, okay? All right. Law number 1, infrastructure defines reality. I just said it a bunch of times already. Infrastructure defines reality. If you understand that this reality is not real, the only thing that's really real is your mind. Understand that, okay? These games, all of this stuff is infrastructure. Someone made it up. So God made the master code, and then he allows us to manipulate the master codes. That's why ye are gods with the little g. You can make the infrastructure. You know what's funny? People don't know that the scriptures say ye are gods. Somebody commented on one of the posts a little while ago, like, I can't remember what they said, something about arrogance. And I was like, what do you mean? Scripture says ye are gods.
Does say that.
Why would I not? That's the whole point, is to be confident.
You know, I had a bar. I had a quick bar that I wanted to drop as far as like when you were talking about the reality, creating reality, but it's not truth because there's only one truth and nothing else is true outside of that. So once you can really understand that, everything is questionable outside the one truth because there's only, when we speak of things in this reality, things in the reality have life cycles and everything has to go through the life cycle. So everything is constantly always evolving, always changing. Nothing is staying the same. But there's only one thing that lives forever. And when you don't have a life cycle, you don't necessarily have to change and evolve to fight extinction, rather, or to stay alive in the creativity or the ideal or the concept or whatever people. I think we talked about that last week, right? About like what
we talked about that, like people being afraid of change, so they create all these things to try to be fixed, and they go outside of what's good for them just to do this. And it's like, once you realize that the promise is life and life everlasting, then it changes your perspective on things. Like, I don't gotta do all that. Like, this is fun. I'm a creator. Yeah, I like to create things for sure. I'm a creator. I like to create things. God created us in his image, and what's the first thing he did? He's a creator. So he created creators. That's what the whole "ye are gods" means. Because the enemy can't create.
Yeah.
They have to use our life force to create. So yes, I know your brain is your whole reality is questioned, right? Okay. So the first law is, actually, I'm just going to, I wrote them down because I didn't want to forget them, obviously.
You just going to read them off?
Yeah, I'm going to read them off. The first law is infrastructure defines reality. Infrastructure does not merely operate under the rules of the market. Infrastructure creates the operating rules that everyone else experiences. Right now, the game is wide open for a lot of stuff. I don't know what it is that's happening. I'm sure if we went, I don't know what's happening, why everything is changing, but everything is changing. You can write the laws of reality. You can write the laws of the new infrastructure or whatever your industry is.
When the first explorers got here to this landmass, this country, the Wild Wild West, up for grabs. And the first person who...
Yeah, they always make the analogy of the Wild Wild West for anything that... Like, people don't realize that NPCs, they're so used to rules being put in place, they can't see Wild Wild West. Why was Wild Wild Westin'? So when you say to an NPC, like, come on, it's Wild Wild West, they're like, I need somebody to tell me the rules. I don't know what you're talking about. I can't see that. I can only see rules that other people have made. This is why the lady on the game can't do nothing but cross the street. Okay. Purvey's second law. Infrastructure converts possibility into prosperity. A technology, a system, an idea alone is not yet an economy. This is where they're getting messed up. And this is where they get messed up every time with a new revolution. This is where they're getting messed up with AI. They think AI equals money. Y'all have not set up the infrastructure yet. Y'all have, not only have y'all set up the infrastructure, but the infrastructure that's running on, which is internet infrastructure, don't work. And this is how, with any revolution, 90% of the people end up losing their money. Because the infrastructure is not set up yet. The reality is not set up yet. You just have an idea. Okay. This one is the major one. Purvey's third law. Infrastructure captures the economic rent. The best monetization, and this is where the big money comes from, the best monetization comes from contributing to, defining, and or constructing the infrastructure. Okay? Contributing to, defining, and or constructing it. That's the real money. Everybody's not going to be able to do that. Can you make big money doing other stuff? For sure. Everybody's not going to be able to be Andrew Carnegie setting up the railroads. Can't do it. But that's the money. You can't be J.P. Morgan setting up the banking system in America.
Yeah.
But that's the long money. Now I started to run a prank on you and be like, guess who runs the internet?
J.P. Morgan.
J.P. Morgan.
J.P. Morgan runs it.
We could probably peel back the layers and figure that statement out to be true if we really wanted to.
You know, I went down a rabbit hole. A quick aside. I went down a rabbit hole to really figure out how the internet is monopolized, for lack of a better term.
Yeah, I started to go into that. I really needed to get to this. Well, go ahead. I'm listening.
But, I mean, it's to no avail, though. It's a never-ending.
Oh, yeah. But at the end of the day, the real bottom line is attention.
Yeah.
Which, I had another note in here that we didn't get a chance to talk about, but I'm glad you brought that up. The really bad thing about the 2.0 version of the internet, it was very necessary, but the result of it was that human beings started equating attention for quality, and it created a very sad environment. Journalism quality went down, content quality went down. Everything, we're literally so we feel like we're in an idiocracy movie.
Yeah.
Because attention has been equated to quality.
Mm-hmm.
And that sucks. This is what that version of the internet did. And so I am actually looking for, hopefully, whatever they come up with. And I'm saying they because I have things that I'm focusing on. I can't take over. I can't save the world.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only reason why I'm saying they. I'm not saying they as if we can't do it. I'm hoping you guys can do it.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever the version that they come up with, I hope that it returns quality.
I say that. You say whatever version that you point in the camera and say you.
Okay, the version that you come up with, okay?
And tell them when they come up with the business, contact me because I'm an LP all day. I just,
Hey.
not much you need. I like it. I like it.
He an LP. Okay. My fourth law. Total control creates a growing penalty. Infrastructure has an optimal boundary. What do I mean by that? This one is my favorite one because this is what I really want y'all to understand. You will lose if you try to control every step or every layer in the infrastructure. This, occasionally it works. Mm-hmm. Occasionally. Mm-hmm. This is where people get greedy and they mess up. The person I'm thinking about, Elon. He's trying to control every step. I want to do satellites, AI, robots, car. We're going to be the largest business in the world, company in the world, and have the most customers in the world. Internet. Bro, you're doing too much. That greed will get you every time. So it's important, whatever system you're in, to understand, either contribute to the infrastructure or understand the infrastructure, or pick, and we'll get to the fifth law, a few choke points and control them, but not the whole thing. You cannot run the world. Every time somebody try to come along and take over the world, Roman Empire, we're going to have the largest empire ever. Genghis Khan, we're going to have the largest empire ever. Every time.
It's the life
England,
cycle.
we're going to have the largest empire. England was cool because they was like, let's pull back and we're going to do this over here. And we're going to be picks and shovels. Over here, we're going to pull back. We got too ambitious. It just don't work. It don't work. You cannot control every step. Pick a couple of the steps and just do your thing. Okay? That's how Cloudflare doing it. I really like this company.
Yeah.
Please don't let something crazy come out about this dude. Okay.
The fifth law.
The fifth law. Infrastructure monetization optimizes inside a vessel, controlling the minimum sufficient bundle. So what do I mean by that? So if you think about infrastructure, think about different layers, right? So if you think about infrastructure for real, it's probably highways and byways. But to keep it simple, let's just have it go along the x-axis axis and there are layers. Or if you want to go like this, axis. Why do I keep saying axis? Y axis and there are layers. Keep it very simple, one dimensional. Okay. What Elon is trying to do is trying to own the whole Y axis. Axis. He's trying to own the whole Y axis. Okay. I think that's what OpenAI secretly wants to do. That's the problem. So this is the other problem. This is what I was going to say, what I think OpenAI is doing wrong. I think in terms of OpenAI, Anthropic, I think they're trying to exist in all these verticals and control too much of it. But at the same time, the real thing that they got working against them is that the product is homogenous. They're all the same product. You got these little tiny tweaks as to which better and what's not. But like,
how I see it is, because it's so much of a like new playing field that we haven't seen. I see it as
it's all the same. That's the thing. That's the thing about wisdom. Now, I'm gonna cut you off. This is important. This is real important. This is the thing about wisdom. There's nothing new under the sun. There's laws. You just have to figure out which laws apply where. This is not new. There's something happening new here for sure. But the laws and setting up an infrastructure and defining the rules of reality, none of them. This is why when the Bible describes Solomon as being the wisest man ever, it says that he can explain to you like the smallest thing from a little insect all the way up to the way, like he talked about nature, because it's all the same. This is why Jesus spoke in parables. All the same. So, yeah, this is the Wild Wild West, but at the same time, we got a bunch of Wild Wild Wests that we can look at and be like.
I think it's like the Wild Wild West in the essence of like travel. Because if we know travel, we know get on a car, we know drive, we know go down the expressway. But if you also have travel through the air, in which only limited people know how to travel through the air, for lack of better terms, let's just say floating cars or hovering cars, that allows people now to not just have to necessarily just be on the expressway to travel. Now you can hover and travel. But you don't know how to navigate because, you know, a pilot might know how to go around certain areas or certain regions due to weather.
So what I'm saying is you can write the code to how to navigate. That's what you're missing. I'm glad that we're having this conversation because this is the training that I got to try to get you to start thinking about. This is the third option. Some of you get the floating car and then be like, I don't know how to navigate. Guess what? These jokers that's making this up, they don't know either. They're making it up. It's okay. Yeah. That's how it's done. Make it up. I'm not saying make it up recklessly, but what I'm saying is make it up in a way that makes sense. This is why you have to understand the industry, understand the problems, and solve the problems. Like I literally overflooded my brain with I'm not even sharing y'all the stuff that I understand about how this all works because it's irrelevant. You have to go and search it yourself. Because it's me telling y'all that it's not going to do anything. You have to, learning all the technical and how that works, that's easy. That information is there. You can have a whole conversation with chat. That's there. You don't need me to tell you this. What I am telling you is I'm giving you a little bit of taste of how it changes and how of the changes that are happening and how you need to think so that you can really make money in this. Every time we have a revolution, 5 years later, you go by and be like, dang, I wish I did that. Somebody keeps saying to me, dang, I wish I would have invested in Philly real estate when you did. Yeah, but we got a new thing. Because, properties was cheap back then. We got a new thing. Come on.
Yeah.
Let me explain this number 5, okay? You'll have a better chance of winning if you define and or control 2 or more bundled steps or layers of the infrastructure. But the max is 60 to 75% of the infrastructure steps or layers. Now, is this number based on anything? This is Nicole's way of saying, if you really want to play this infrastructure game, the GP game, okay? Can you be a GP without controlling infrastructure? Yes, but I'm for the analogy of the 3 types of people. Okay. If you want to be a GP personality type, okay, you're going to look at the infrastructure, identify the choke points, bundle 2 or more into a business model. Remember, I said there's infrastructure and business model, 2 different things. Into a business model. But, and then some of you are going to be like, 2 or more, I want to do a whole thing. No. The max is 60 to 75%. Again, that is Nicole. I have not validated those numbers, but I've looked at this a lot. A lot. Once you go past 75%, you playing yourself. You trying to do too much. That's what happens every time somebody has a big giant fall. You think you get so arrogant and you try to control an entire system. I'm thinking about all the way from Genghis Khan all the way down to, I'm going to tell a story. Some of y'all going to know who this is, but I'm going to change the names and people to protect the innocent. Okay, I'm going to change some major things. There was a guy who just recently got in trouble federally. He invested in real estate. I'm going to stick with that. He invested in real estate. He decided that he was going to go to Springfield, USA, and say, all right, Springfield, USA is slightly being gentrified. I got a plug there. I own a mortgage company. I got a construction business. Probably had their license, agent. It was an agent, realtor's license. They also was a wholesaler. They also taught people, educated people about investing in real estate. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to buy a couple houses in Springfield, USA. Overdevelop them, sell them to another company. I think this is what happened. Sell them to another company at this inflated rate. Right around the corner is like majority of Springfield, USA is like really low property values. I got access to those. I'm a wholesaler. I'm a teach people. I'm a wholesale it to them. I'm gonna run the construction. Oh, also I'm gonna find a tenant to get in there for you. Oh, I'm sorry, you need a mortgage. I got a mortgage company. I'm gonna get you the hard money loan and I'm gonna get you the regular mortgage. Guess what that got him? In jail. Y'all just see Brandon's face. He's scared. So there's another guy. He said, I want to control all the information in the world. So I'm going to set up an a satellite company. I'm going to set up an AI company. I'm going to set up a social media company. I'm going to get government contracts. I'm sure I'm missing a whole bunch of other stuff. I'm going to get everything in between. So how did the car, and a car company, because I want to know where you're going. Because we wheeling and dealing in data here. How's the car company doing?
Underwhelming.
How's their social media company doing?
It's lost 50% of its value.
How's the new company doing?
It's lost 1.2 trillion since it IPO.
Now, for those of you watching this in the future, that's like, Elon's smarter than you. He's made so much more money than you. Who do you think you are, lady? And now he's doing this new thing, and we're all. Somebody called them Musconians or something.
Muscovites.
Dog. When he gets his new scheme that he's doing, and that, he markets that, he's a brilliant marketer. You can't get greedy. Some of y'all can do this for like small niche businesses. I'm thinking about like supply chain for like some of you sell products. Come on.
Mm-hmm.
Come on. You got it. Come on. Bundle at least two of the choke points. At least two. But no more. I think you can do more than 50% of the whole process. But I think 75 is just too much. I say 60 between 7. I think you can do more than 50. Give me some time by the time I write this book, I will have the numbers down to an exact science. And if you steal my ish, I fly out to beat somebody up.
Don't let that Philly come out. Y'all ain't.
I'll fly out and whoop yo. All right. Before we get into exact things that you can do about this, I do want to give you some breadcrumbs around what companies to look up and research. Here's the other thing too. Another reason why I'm reading off these companies, none of this is a recommendation for investment. Research, because a lot of these companies talk about picks and shovels. This is picks and shovelville. Because here's the thing. Remember, we kept saying AI's picks and shovels is the data centers. And I said, no, that's part of the trade. This is the picks and shovels of AI. And it's because AI needs internet. And we don't know what is happening. So a lot of these companies, some of these companies are publicly traded. Go and do your own research. That's my whole point. So for those of you LPs who like publicly traded companies, go ahead. For the GPs, that's visionaries like me, that's ready to get busy. We'll talk about that after we go through all these companies, but I still need everybody to understand this. Okay. Interface discovery and demand controllers. You got Alphabet, Google, two different companies, same company, but that's another conversation for another day because I got a lot of companies I want to get out. OpenAI, Microsoft, Amazon, Meta. Internet access, edge enforcement, and metering. Cloudflare, Akamai, Fastly, Human Native. Content and data owners. The information landlord. This is probably the easiest place to get in where you fit in terms of selling publishing rights to AI companies. Reddit, News Corp, Financial Times, Axel Springer, Associated Press, Stack Overflow, Getty Images, Shutterstock, Disney, Yahoo, Medium, Quora. Next category, licensing rights and royalty infrastructure. Tollbit, RSL Collective, ProRata, created by humans. Next one, agent identity, commerce, payments, and settlement. Skyfire, Visa, MasterCard, Stripe, PayPal, Shopify, Coinbase. Compute and semiconductor suppliers, NVIDIA, Broadcom, AMD. Existing financial market infrastructure. DTCC, we talked about them last week. This is just a comparison point to bring it full circle. Okay? They operate critical. For those of you who don't know, go and watch our whole entire episode explaining DTCC. Just so you can understand that it's the same things. Remember I said in that episode before we went to my house, and I said it's 4 systems that's being rewritten right now. We are in a magical time. It's almost like God packaged this up for you, and say you can't lose. Go get him, Tiger. For you.
I want to almost say that AI is also threatening people's IP.
It's not if you package your stuff up and take your IP. There's a number of different ways. I'm thinking about it. Media companies. It's easy to set up a media company. Once you set up your media company, especially if you're a content creator or if you're IP, work with the existing media company, figure out how you can take it and license it. You get paid for that.
Well, when I say threaten people's IP, because if you're running your IP or concepts through AI and it's unlicensed, then who's to say like?
So there's some laws. Actually, Dom, she did some content about this. It's still a gray area, so they're not gonna get funky. They know better because it's still the Wild Wild West. I just saw earlier where there's a document going around with the AI companies begging the government to regulate them. Like, we can't control ourselves because the bots, the agents, are going rogue.
Yeah.
And breaking into other companies. And so they're like, we can't control ourselves. Please regulate us. What's wrong with y'all? I guess the argument is no one wants to stop because they know that their competitor is not going to stop. They know it's wrong. They know they need to slow down. And so it's like, am I going to slow down? Because if I don't slow down, I know they don't keep going. So that's why they're saying, like, let's just make a rule for everybody. But we're going to ask the government, a less competent agency, to regulate you guys who don't have no wisdom to regulate yourselves. All right. Last but not least, I have a list. I'm going to rattle them off, and a couple of them I'm going to stop on. Okay. For investors, invest in infrastructure, not just the application. Talked about that. I gave you a bunch of companies. Come up with some ideas from those companies. Find their competitors. I don't care. Do what you want. Follow the toll collectors. Visa, MasterCard, Cloudflare, Google, Amazon, Microsoft. Own scarce information. I just said this. Examples: research, databases, communities, local knowledge, industry expertise, original reporting.
Original reporting?
Yes, and license it to AI. So, like, when I was listening to the dude from Cloudflare, he gave this very specific example. You go to a hotel and someone has the information, because this is what they're posting on Reddit, that room 314 is better than room 315. You can't get that on Google. So if you have a database that's like Reddit, where people are sharing all this information, and then Reddit is saying, we got all this information, we're licensing it to ChatGPT. You have very specifics that's not on Google that you put in videos.
That reminds me of Michael Burry, in the simplest form. And when I say that, in essence, his information that he gathered was something that wasn't public information, or from the consensus that he went door to door. He gathered information.
He could have put that data right on up, took it, dated it, mined the data, data it.
But yeah, he could have licensed it.
He could have. Oh, I don't know. Y'all, answer some questions. There's questions that people want to know. Go get the data. License it. That's what I'm saying. There's so much opportunity. Like, my brain was exploding when I was looking at this, and I was going to give y'all, and this is how this works, and this is how that works. Maybe I could run it back later and explain to you the highways and byways, because it is really fascinating. It's super cool. It's more important.
Maybe it could be a 2-part.
Maybe. We'll see how I feel next week. If y'all want a 2-part, let me know down in the bottom. If y'all want the actual highways and byways for me to explain it to you.
Right, 2-part.
See, as a person who's a visionary, right, I store information a certain type of way. I'll get the highways and byways, get all the information, and then discard the details of it, just so I can have the faint blueprint. Once I have the faint blueprint, I'm good. It's almost like Steve Jobs didn't know how to code. What do I need to know how to code for? But I don't mind sharing it. I do enjoy it. But once I've got the blueprint, the faint blueprint, then I started coming up here and started thinking up here. I don't need to know how to code. I don't care. Invest where infrastructure is still being built. Okay? All right, for businesses, build direct relationships, email lists, communities, memberships, customer database. Don't rely exclusively on search traffic. Become AI readable. This is something I have to work on once I pulled all this together, and I was like, oh. Okay. Build proprietary assets like the Purvey economic infrastructure theory. I got about 5 more of these that I ain't shared with y'all that's like hot fire flames. And there's another portion to this theory that I'm not sharing right there, I'm preserving it for my book. That is, y'all gonna be like, this girl is a crazy nerd.
I wonder
That's
how
okay,
people
I enjoy
feel
it.
when they sit and watch the videos on YouTube, like, because we do this in real time, and I sit here, and as you say things, you can see that in my eyes that my brain just be moving, because I just be thinking about so much stuff as you talk, and then be like, oh dang, like that I did, oh that I did, or like sometimes you can look in my eyes and just be like, I can see your brain. You say I just see your brain, right? I wonder if people sit
They do. I know they do.
and just think.
That's my goal.
I
I want y'all to understand something. I don't even need to know. There's a lot of evil people controlling this matrix, that set this matrix up, that define this reality. They are messed up. They are messed up. And so my labor of love, I can't go and fight these people. My labor of love is to do you remember X-Men?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Professor X, when the episode came about Jean Grey, when he was explaining like why he had to control her mind, he was like, I had to put boundaries on her mind because she's too powerful.
Mm-hmm.
And so what I am doing for you, is I'm lifting off the boundaries. And then I gotta make sure you're not evil. Because those evil people, they got boundaries lifted off. Because if you see things the way I see them, or some version of how I see it, you ain't gotta see it exactly as me. Y'all be disagreeing with me and I love that. Long as we keep it respectful. Then y'all see how we can bring goodness into this world. We can do this capitalism thing responsibly.
I like that. I like that term. I like the whole term. Capitalism responsibly.
Yeah, right, that is fire.
Yeah.
That is hot fire flames.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm lifting off the boundaries. And then, the analogy with the staff and the rod with sheep.
Mm-hmm.
I got my rod and my staff. Come this way. So I got to put other ones. Don't go over there.
Mm-hmm.
Do not go over there, y'all. Don't.
We shepherds. Ye are gods, and then he also referred to us as shepherds.
I know. Build proprietary assets. Don't just create content, create assets, databases, frameworks, models, methodologies, calculators, research communities. Coaches still, because people don't know how to execute. Understanding and execution. Coaches, software, consulting, communities, capital, services, implementation. All those examples I gave you. Look at the framework.
Mm-hmm.
So remember, we constricted it to the y-axis. The y-axis, okay? Look at the framework of how this thing is set up.
Mm-hmm.
Pick 2 or 3 or more, not 60, 70%, 2 or 3 in your industry or in the internet, and use it to solve these problems.
Mm-hmm.
That is your new business model that nobody can take away from you. Stop trying to compete with jabronis.
Mm-hmm.
Jabronis is doing jabroni stuff. You talking about how, they jabronis, but guess what? You're doing the same thing as the jabronis.
Mm-hmm.
My competitors, they're jabronis. Y'all doing the same thing. Who's jabroni now? You know the same thing as your competitor. Elon and Sam Altman arguing with each other. Y'all doing the same thing. He said, scam Altman. Elon bust.
It goes deeper than that.
Oh, no, because they used to work together back in the day. Jabronis hang out. Jabroni recognized jabroni. You know what Alana says, real recognize real, and you looking familiar?
Mm-hmm.
Jabronis recognize jabroni, and they looking familiar. This is the only reason why I can recognize jabroni. You know what I was thinking about?
You said, wait.
Because,
what? What'd you just say?
I said the only reason why I can recognize jabroni. You know what I was thinking about? I was thinking about I'm like the biggest critic of what's corny and what's not corny. Like, and I know I can, like, people be doing some corny, they be corny. Do you want to know why? I had a cousin. It's not my same cousin, Nina, a male cousin. I loved him. He's actually a little bit older than Nina on a different side of the family. I loved him. He was the coolest person ever. Coolest person ever. One day, we had a big sleepover. So I'm probably like 9 or 10. We had a big sleepover because he had a sister, also my cousin. Me and her were closer in age. And then afterwards, we were all hanging out in the living room, and he's super funny. So he's standing up there doing his little stand-up, and all the girls in the sleepover is like, ha, 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 ha. For some reason, he just singled out and was like, Nicole, you corny. Why are you so corny?
Oh, no. He went AI grog roast.
He was like, "You so corny." I can't remember that he said it was funny too, but my feelings was, I don't know if I heard. It had an impact on me because I remember this very vividly, and I think it just made me just be like a real critic of corny versus not corny, and like
no more jabroniness.
That's why I can recognize corny. That's why I can recognize lame.
That is funny. That right there is hilarious.
Now you want to hear something funny? Fast forward. Mad years later, cousin, you know I love you to death. But you call corny.
Oh my
You know, when Joseph was a baby, he did not like him. He did.
Who Joseph did?
He didn't like my dad cousin.
Oh God. Oh Lord.
He was every time he get around, he started crying.
You said fast forward. That reminds me of this movie. Probably nobody knows the movie except me. I might be a little corny too. Just a little bit now I think about this movie. It's called The New Guy.
Yeah, that's what Will Ferrell and Oh, that's the other guys. No, the new guy. So let me be very, very clear. As of today, as a 43-year-old woman, corny is not the same thing corny. Before you even go into this, hold on, because I want to make sure that I relieve your heart of this. You are not corny. As my 43-year-old, corny is something very different. It's not like, oh, you dress a certain way or that was what he was saying to me. Like, because I was like cross, tomboy, whatever. I was kind of corny, but I was also an overgrown 10-year-old. So that also made it awkward because I looked grown, but I was dressing like a tomboy 10-year-old. I looked like I was 15, but I was 10, dressing like a tomboy 10-year-old. So it looked really weird, okay? So anyways, today, as a cornball to me is someone who, when you do amoral things for money, that is so corny. Because you cannot, it is so corny. Instead of fixing inward, you can't stop. You keep trying to go out. You don't know that evil is bad? That's corny. Instead of just sitting down and being like, what is going on internally? What am I after? What is the meaning of life? God, please, like, instead of just going internal, you just keep going. You're doing more work. Like, that is so corny to me. Or when people, like, trying to appear something that they're not. That is corny to me. Just people just trying to cover up the external, to cover up what's going on internally. That is so, because it's so obvious to me. Corny. Like, you are so lame. And that's just what I see with homeboy.
Yeah.
But I see that with a lot of people. I see that with a lot of like famous people, especially social media people, influencers. They be so
You probably
corny.
can see that a little bit more in depth too, according to your rock star lifestyle too. Because money don't make people.
What you mean? My rock? What's my rock star? What
You
mean?
know your don't. You know your rock star lifestyle.
You have to tell the people what the rock star lifestyle is.
The rock star lifestyle is just being around people, being around influential people at times, being around people of status, people of money.
So let me give you all a little bit of context.
I just blocked.
Okay. I just recently blocked a famous person from my phone. But let me give you all a little bit of context to explain this. So growing up, my dad always had a very notable job. And I think I just got conditioned from at a young age being around celebrities.
Mm-hmm.
And then, it's exciting when you're in your 20s. And then one day you realize that these is cornballs.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But that don't, because you're still conditioned, they still keep coming around. And so I'm always telling him, I'll be blocking celebrities. I had one day, I don't know, a bunch of things happened.
Mm-hmm.
And I told Brandon just things happened. And he was like, what? And this is not even something, whatever, I don't care. These people be corny.
Corny.
That's the point that I'm making. Some of your favorites. Corn balls.
Mm-hmm.
Top 10 jabronis. To the point where I still like his art, even though he corny. I done blocked it, but I still like his art.
Right now.
I don't even care, because I've accepted it. They all corny.
Yeah.
The realest people, for real, the realest, dopest people, just be the people, just look for the people that can get internal happiness. Those be the dopest people. Anybody that can't, they're always going to do something weird to compensate.
Mm.
And the weirdness is then what makes them corny. There's so many corny things I want to speak on right now, but I can't. I love y'all.